Oh, that's bright. Hi, how's it going, everybody? I'm Melissa Squire. I'm the owner of Alchemy Clothing, Salon, Tattoo, and Piercing. I'm a local designer from Saskatoon. I've been designing in Saskatoon now for 8 years. So I guess with design being the topic today, I should probably talk about that. Thank you to all my lovely models here. So I'll talk to you about a few of the things that they're wearing currently. So in my experience with design, I like to try and play around with different kinds of materials and sort of think outside of the box. I'm not an educated, like a formally trained designer, so most of what I do, I taught myself, which I feel... Thank you. My Baba taught me a lot. I learned to sew when I was really, really young. My Baba gave me my first machine when I was 9, so kind of going from there, playing around with things over the years, it's been really interesting. But on our farthest model here, she has a nice little dress on underneath. I like to work with versatility as well in my pieces. So she has 2 pieces on right now. One is the bustle skirt made with a whole bunch of different kinds of lace and whatnot. And then the dress, and then her neck piece is actually made from a recycled record, and then some gears and things like that. I like to do a little bit edgier, working with chain and gears and studs and things like that. On our next model here, she's wearing one of my Sailor Dan pieces, so I like to work... I started working with Sailor Dan last May. He's quite the character, I'm sure. Working downtown, you guys all have know about him. So we started working together. So I do a line of t-shirts and tank tops and dresses and skirts and things like that I get his ship screened on, and then he gets royalties from everything that I sell. It's been a really great relationship, and he's grown, and I've grown a lot since we started working together. So yeah, that's one of my Sailor Dan pieces, and then her hair piece is actually also made out of a recycled record that's covered with scrap fabric and some feathers and that kind of thing. Beside her, we have our next model who is wearing part of my Vacation Joel line. Joel is my husband, and he's quite a hilarious character, and so this is part of his personality coming out in my collection. He never models for me ever, which I think is quite rude, but whatever. So we have this lovely fellow wearing it today. Well, you're doing fabulously, hon. So, and then we have another one of the Sailor Dan collection. This dress is actually reversible to the other side, so you can wear the cowl in the front or the high neck in the front. And then actually, if you flip it inside out, the other side is just plain black. So that's where the versatility comes back into the whole thing. I wear dresses every single day of my life, so that gets a little boring, and I kind of have to play around with my wardrobe a lot. And so having things that are reversible or pieces that come off or like things that you can add to an outfit really, really help me not get bored with my wardrobe. The next piece we have is this fabulous vest. Nice. So some of the details on the vest are actually made with recycled tractor tire and tractor tube. I work a lot with tractor tire and bike tire tube and bike tires. This is part of my, I like to recycle or upcycle quite a bit. So working quite a lot with that. It's a really interesting texture. You often get similarities between that and leather just because it's not super consistent. Every tire is a little bit different. The inside of the tire looks different than the outside of the tire and that kind of thing. So it's really fun to play with, and I work a lot with details on vests. And the bow tie as well is actually made from the tire tube. So I do a lot of those bike tire tube bow ties. Those were actually featured in the Oscar swag bags a couple of years ago. I sent a bunch of those down for that, so that was kind of a fun thing. Yes, thank you. And then this is one of my wedding dresses. So this is another piece that has it's quite versatile. So there's 3 pieces actually in this. And so there's the top layer, which is basically a big maxi dress. You can wear the top as a bandeau, and then there's a pink crinoline underneath. And then the polka dot dress underneath is actually reversible to plain white as well, and it can be worn alone too. So especially when I'm doing a lot of my custom pieces, I tend to do separates like that, so that when you're buying a couple $1,000 wedding dress that fits you absolutely perfectly, you have a few pieces that you can take off of it and work into your everyday life, so that you have a little bit of a takeaway and it's not just something that you wear at that one time. Her neck piece as well is made out of a recycled record. And then myself, what am I wearing? This is recycled tractor tire, and I think that's all. Oh, and then that's just scrap fabrics. So anyways, the top that I'm wearing, so I like going back to, I'm jumping all over the map, sorry guys. Going back to working with local artists, this is something that Alchemy and myself really strive towards. So the top that I'm wearing is actually a mural that one of our tattoo artists at Alchemy did on the wall at Alchemy, and I found this fabulous website that you can just send in a file and they send you fabric, and it's great. So I took a picture with my phone of the mural that our tattoo artist Shannon McLean did, and yeah, so that's this fabric. And our lovely hairstylist Mel, who did everybody's hair up here today, is also wearing the same fabric on there. Yeah, so it's kind of fun. So I guess I'll talk a little bit about Alchemy now. We have been open for 5.5 years, which is really exciting. We opened in 2010, and at that point, I owned the store, and my business partner at the time owned the salon. We've grown a lot since then. I took over the salon in the fall of 2015, and we added tattoo artists and piercers a couple years ago as well, and our staff has grown immensely since. We strive to be as sustainable as physically possible, so we are a part of the Green Circle Salon program there, which means that we recycle pretty much everything except for food waste in the salon, and as much as possible in the store as well. So even like the hair that gets cut off of, like when you get a haircut, it all gets sent to a women's penitentiary in BC and gets used for hair booms for oil spills, which is really cool. And just things like that. So we're trying as hard as we can to contain our carbon footprint that way. We just partnered up with Bullfrog Power as well. So we're all Bullfrog Power, which replaces the power that we use and the energy that we use with sustainably sourced power. And we also have a tree planting initiative at Alchemy. So we recently got a liquor license, and every time you buy an alcoholic beverage, we plant a tree. So you're really doing your part to give back by having a beer, which I think is pretty exciting, and most of you probably would as well. So come get a service, have a beer, plant a tree, it'll be fabulous. We're actually doing a big tree planting initiative as a staff retreat as well in May. So we're going up to sort of the Ness Creek Big River area, and we're going to plant trees for a weekend as staff sort of bonding experience. I'm pretty excited about that. What else can I tell you? Oh yes, these not so active mannequin ladies here. So over here, I have a couple other pieces containing tire and whatnot as well. This is one of my cage crinoline sort of hoop skirts. So this is all made from the edges of they're the steel edges attached to the bike tire, but not the rim, if you know what I mean. Anyways, so that's made out of that, and then the rest of it is actual tire. And then this is tractor tube, so you can see that there's still the writing on it. I like to use the quirky parts of things like that. Again, working with the gears and that to keep it a little steampunk, a little edgy. And then going over to this beast, which is actually her name, the Beast. So this one is quite fabulous. I've used this hoop skirt similar to this in a few different fashion shows. One of my friends and our makeup artist at Alchemy, Jenny Lee, has worn this guy a couple times, and we like to hide things underneath it for fashion shows like children and tea parties and drag queens and things like that. So it keeps things interesting, keeps everybody on edge. What's going to jump out of the dress this time? The vest is made from recycled tractor tube again, and then this is one of my favorite pieces. It's actually my own personal top hat that I made out of tractor tube, which I've worn a shocking amount. Quite shocking, in fact. So yeah, I actually showed this in the Saskatchewan Wearable Arts Gala this fall, and I'm headed to that reception right after this, actually, at the Saskatchewan Craft Council. So anyways, that's that. And then this one is a pretty interesting fabric. So it's reversible as well. So you have the white side. You should probably wear something underneath it. I'm not going to judge, but, you know, she's not. So whatever. And then the jacket is, I call it the jeans jacket. And it's made out of a pair of old jeans. And then we have the tentacle details made out of tractor tire as well. So that's her. I guess in terms of design, a few things about design is that being that it's 2016 and the internet is rampant and nothing really seems like an original idea anymore. So that's where I try and force myself to look outside of the box again and do different things with different kinds of materials and use them in ways that they probably shouldn't be used, but I like to push the boundaries of things like that. So inspiration, I get a lot from, like most of my line is quite rockabilly. So, you know, different pinup styles is where everything kind of started, and then gradually moved on to the edgy random things that I do now. So I've been involved in a lot of shows in the last few years. A few of them, Vancouver Fashion Week I showed in a couple years ago, Saskatchewan Fashion Week as well in their first year, Saskatoon Fashion and Design Festival. I did Brooklyn Fashion Week a couple years ago. We also I took a crew down to Vegas, and we did Viva Las Vegas, which is the world's biggest rockabilly party. So that was a terrible time. It was just the worst. And then at Alchemy, we also host a lot of events. So every year we have our annual Revamp Upcycled Art Show. So that just happened March 19th. We feature a bunch of local artists and designers, and all of their pieces need to be made roughly like 95% from recycled materials. And so we get quite a variety of different kinds of art and different pieces, from just like lamps and things like that to paintings and things containing succulents. And I do a lot of stuff out of recycled drums, like tables out of recycled drums and chandeliers and things like that too. So that's part of a different avenue of design in my life. I'm also quite involved in the Pride Festival. So we put on the Live in Color Art and Fashion Show every year for Pride. And that's a super fun fashion show involving several local designers as well. I've been involved in the Faux Pas fashion shows a couple years. And every year we also have our annual birthday party, our birthday party for Alchemy. So this fall it will be our 6th birthday party, and it'll be at Capitol in November. And then we are headed right away to the Make It Vancouver show. I will be showing all my stuff there and having like a vendor table. It's a trade show type of thing. And one of our tattoo artists coming with me as well, and she makes really rad pieces out of antlers and moose racks and things like that. Super cool stuff. Different recognition that Alchemy has had over the past few years. We were nominated for a SABEX Award this year. I was nominated, just found out yesterday that I was nominated for ABEX Award, so that's pretty cool. I was one of the nominees for Future 40. There was a lot of fabulous nominees, though, this year. So Women of Distinction, which is coming up in June, that was also something that I was nominated for. And then actually, my husband and I got married a couple years ago, and we were featured, our wedding, because we made basically everything at it, was featured in Rock and Roll Bride magazine, which is out of the UK, so that was really exciting too. So I guess big things for me since becoming a designer, since opening the store, doing all of this, really what I have to say about it all is none of it would be possible without the most amazing team of family and friends and staff that anybody could ever ask for. So I have a really, really amazing team of staff and family and friends that really help me out all the time. My mom sews a lot for me and does a lot of my books and things like that, so that's really helpful. And yeah, I think that's it. So.